Hi, and welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. Atlantic City, which seemed to be dying, may have found a savior. Actually, a couple of saviors, and we'll introduce you to one in a second. But savior number one, who has now just made news before we started taping this show, is named Glenn Straub. He is a Florida real estate developer who has purchased Revel, the casino that opened to so much hope and anticipation and then quickly died. Well, it may be rejuvenated to the cost of $86 million, and he says he's going to pump $150 million into it. He also wants to buy Showboat. He also wants to pump $500 million into Atlantic City, and that is of particular interest to my next guest, Patricia Moran from the Department of Labor in New Jersey. She and her team have been on the ground in Atlantic City for months now. Months. She is Executive Director of Workforce Development and Economic Opportunity. And tell me about, first let's start with the news. You heard about Glenn Straub. Your reaction?
Well, my immediate reaction is jobs. It's wonderful to have jobs because we at the Department of Labor wrote the National Emergency Grant for Atlantic City. So we're right now in the process of retooling and retraining all of the folks that have been downsized from the casinos, and not just the casinos, the people that were inside there. Let's say there was a Starbucks that was inside the casino. All of those people that had little businesses inside the casino were affected by those downsizing, by those casinos. So we had a big kickoff March 9th. We're training these people, giving them new skills. Even those who don't have high school diplomas, we've got them in training and providing occupational training and support services and even ESL, ABE, GED training to get them trained. And then we're also assisting them with job placement. We have people out there knocking on doors. So this is, to me, this new opportunity, any new business, it's out there knocking on doors. This would give us great jobs. And of course, these people have already so many existing casino skills. This may be a nice float over for
right, them. We have to temper it a little bit.
Yes.
It seems exciting right now, but a lot of it is a promise, and there's nothing in writing about the $500 million.
Right.
There's nothing in writing about the $150 million.
Right.
This just is what he says he's going to do. But to your point, what you're seeing, if he puts $500 million into rejuvenation of the area, that's not just casino jobs.
Correct.
So that could be
jobs,
retail jobs. It could be all the jobs that you're trying to retrain
right.
people for. So it does, in a way, go hand in hand with you, because you're retraining casino workers for the jobs that might be created by this new money coming in.
Exactly. It could be manufacturing jobs, healthcare. We're seeing a lot of healthcare related jobs down there. Obviously, a lot of hotel, retail, tourism jobs down there. So that's actually a great, the money going into the city as well as any new business going down there. We are thrilled because that means jobs, that means economic development, and that's what we're looking for.
Now explain to me, you were telling me before the show that the federal money has some restrictions, and that at least one of the casinos is not covered by this, one of the closings?
Right. There was one casino worker that closed early before the other group of them. They didn't essentially qualify for the National Emergency Grant, but they still qualify for many, many other services through unemployment. And
that's not your doing. That's under the federal regulation for the grant. There's nothing you can do about that.
Correct. As much as I would love to, it would be illegal for us to do that.
So what's the difference between the two? I mean, what do they get that the others don't get?
In some cases, in the Atlantic City NEG, if a trainer if one of the displaced workers, let's say, is in a class, let's say they're learning how to be a welder, okay? So if they're in welding and then they're in the middle of that class, their unemployment stops. Okay, we can give them what's called ABT, additional benefits during training, and that will help get them, because we don't want anybody to quit training, so that they get the skills and they get the credentials they need to land that job that we're seeking for. And also, we're only training people in on-demand jobs with employers at the end of them. So we actually have, that's why we're...
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
so people that are training now, chances are there's an excellent chance they're ending up with a job.
Right. We don't, Department of Labor stopped doing what I call training and praying a while back. Training you and praying you get a job. We're stopping that whole routine. We're training you, for that job at the end of the rainbow, and we have employers lined up for those jobs.
We should point out that you as executive director, you're not spending time in Trenton. You are actually you're in Atlantic City.
I spend much of my days. I spent Wednesday I was in Atlantic City all day. Last week I spent 2 days. I am very much a hands-on person. I also answer we have a hotline, an Atlantic City hotline, and I respond to many of the calls on the hotline. I do it after hours. I wait until after my workday is done, and I spend an hour every night calling the people. And I also have staff that's doing it, but I like to also have that firsthand experience of what they're hearing. But no, I am down there. Many of our services are being done, we're using the campus of Atlantic Cape Community College. So we have an office set up down there. We've set up a whole counseling center, a whole session. We do what's called TABE testing down there to see what their skills are and get them into the right occupational lineup.
So you moved in almost like a triage unit.
Yes, we did. Exactly what it is. Exactly. Great word. It's an actual triage unit.
And I imagine one of the reasons you're on the program today is not only to brag about what you've been doing, but also to get the word out so that you can connect with some of the casino workers down there. How do they find you? Here's
how it works. They get sent a letter, but some of them, they see a letter from the Department of Labor, and I guess they must think it's jury duty or something. so they throw it away, and we actually made it look like a paycheck, the letter, thinking for sure they would open it, but didn't necessarily work. So we actually have staff calling every single person 3 times when they don't show up on their date of their appointment, because the letter says you are to report to Atlantic Cape Community College on Wednesday, X date, X time. It tells them when to report. And if they don't show up, we give them 3 phone calls. We call them 3 times and say, hey, did you forget? Because they want to be eligible. This is almost like a new beginning for them. They could go on and not only, if they don't have a high school diploma, they could get the high school diploma, they could get an occupational skill, and they can get job placement. It is a golden opportunity for someone to start something new. And in many of the people I talk to on the hotline, they have actually said that, I've been carrying those heavy trays for 20 years. It's time for me to do something new. And this is this is a golden opportunity for them to go on and further their skills.
From the Department of Labor, the Executive Director of Workforce Development and Economic Opportunity, and it sounds like there's going to be a whole lot of economic opportunity
you certainly hope so.
Atlantic City.
We're doing a lot to get new, fresh companies in there. It's great.
When we come back, one of the politicians, one of the office holders at the center of the Chris Christie Bridgegate investigation, he says it's not over yet when Jersey Matters returns.